Did you know that there is a tribe in Africa in which spitting on each other is seen as a sign of respect? Or that the man most widely believed to be the richest person in the history of humankind was an African? From being the cradle of mankind to having the youngest population in the world, here are some interestingly strange or strangely interesting things about the land of Africa. Africa is not a single country. Okay. So, admittedly, this first thing is not particularly strange or interesting, but it is a common misconception that I just want to clear up. It's important to understand that Africa is not a single country. It is an entire continent comprising about 54 countries. With that out of the way, let's move on with the video. It's easy to underestimate the true size of Africa. Take a look at this map of the world. From looking at Africa, it is apparent that it is a big place. It is an entire continent after all. However, if you take only this map as a reference, which, let's be honest, most people do, you would still vastly underestimate the true size of Africa. It is actually the second largest continent in the world behind Asia and is big enough to fit the United States, the United Kingdom, China, India, Japan, and still have room to fit in about 10 other smaller countries. Why do you think that is? This is because the Mercator map projection system, the most commonly used world map projection system, inaccurately depicts the relative sizes of the different regions of the world. Interestingly though, it is not Africa that is sized incorrectly. In fact, it is the most accurately sized continent in the Mercator projection system. See, the thing with this system is that it tries to fit the spherical shape of the world onto a cylinder, which leads to the regions closest to the poles to being stretched, so to speak. Africa lies near the equator, so it barely changes in size. Meanwhile, the sizes of the regions further from the equator become greatly inflated. To drive the point home, consider the following comparison. Here's the world map again. Take a look at Greenland and Africa. From simply looking at this map, they seem the same in size, right? Well, in reality, Africa is about 14 times bigger. This seems like a good place to throw in some other geographical facts about Africa that make it unique among the continents of the world. So here goes. Africa is the only continent of the world that spans all 4 hemispheres. And despite being the second largest in size, it actually has the shortest coastline of all the continents. Africa is the most resource-rich region in the world. While most people associate Africa with poverty, in terms of natural resources, it is arguably the richest region in the world. By some estimates, about 40% of the world's gold is in Africa. For chromium and platinum, the number reaches almost 90%. But that's not it. Africa also has the world's largest reserves of cobalt and diamonds. All in all, Africa is estimated to have about 30% of the world's mineral reserves, about 8% of the world's natural gas reserves, and about 12% of the world's oil reserves. Now that you know that, you can somewhat understand why Mansa Musa, an African, is widely considered to be the richest man in the history of the world. He was 9th ruler of the Mali Empire of West Africa, and his wealth has been described as impossible to calculate or simply unimaginable. A major contributor to his wealth is thought to be the trade of gold and salt, which was abundant in the region. Cradle of humankind and the youngest population of the world, Africa is called the cradle of humankind because it is generally agreed upon that modern humans first appeared in Africa and then spread throughout the rest of the world, a conclusion supported by the fossil evidence discovered up till now. That means that if you go back enough, all humans are Africans. While modern humans may have first appeared in Africa, at present, Africa is home to the youngest population of the world. Currently, the world's median age is estimated to be around 30 years old. By comparison, the median age in Africa is about 19. Some strange African customs to the rest of the world, at least. Africa is one of, if not, the most diverse regions in the world. Consider this. The number of languages spoken in Africa is estimated to be about 2,000, with some counts going over 3,000. That is almost 1/3 of all the languages spoken in the world. Also, Africa is home to almost 3,000 tribes, each with its own customs and traditions, some of which can seem quite strange to the rest of the world. For example, in the Maasai tribe of Kenya, spitting on each other is seen as a sign of respect and goodwill. The people of the tribe use spitting to greet friends, to say goodbye to each other, and also to wish someone good luck. When two friends meet, it is common practice for them to spit in their palms before shaking hands, and on the birth of a child, family members spit on the child to wish him or her a long and good life. Spitting is also common at weddings, where the father of the bride can spit on her forehead to wish her a happy marriage. If you're like me, when you watched Black Panther, you may have found the lip plates of some of the characters quite strange. Now, I don't know about you, but at the time, I chalked it up to the movie being set in a fictional nation and all. Well, it turns out that it was inspired by an actual real-world culture. Wooden lip plates are an important part of their culture for the women of the Mercy and Suri tribes of Ethiopia, where it is considered a symbol of beauty. Well, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and would like to watch something similar, click the link to learn some of the weirdest things about India.